Hello YouTube, this is Mini Lathe Rebuild Part 14. Last video I showed building the power supply. I have my camera operator back, so this will be a lot better video and not nearly as boring. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to go ahead and put connectors on here and extend this maybe 12 inches so this doesn't have to be right on top of everything. So we're going to start off by getting some connectors. I'm sure all you purists out there will go, oh, those are the wrong connectors to use. But this is what I have handy, and I don't know if somebody wants to leave in the comments that, like, how much resistance is created by this aluminum copper to connection, and tell me how great that I really need to go with like solid gold connectors or whatever. I'm definitely willing to listen. I do happen to have some 12 gauge ultra wire for Dean's connectors. This came from a local hobby shop, Mark Twain Hobbies in St. Peter's. They have all your RC needs. Had already purchased this, but now I have a use for it. So anyway, let's get started. Up here I've got my connectors, my small wire nuts, and my tiny nuts, wire. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for is these bullet connectors here and a larger round connector. So let's see what we've got here. This is for the 12 gauge wire. These look like some matching. That looks too small. Too small. That'll work. These two. And then I'll need, if you do it right the first time, I'll need 2 males and 2 females. There's another type of terminal I'll show you, these Spade Terminals. I really don't care for these very much. I know they all have their own use, but the bullet connectors are definitely the way to go. Okay, so let's get some wire out here. Okay, I see that's pretty good right there. And here I will go with the male connectors here, and these are 10, and so I got to take the 10 off. And then strip them back just a little bit. And just give you a heads up, the reason why I'm going with the male here is so if these are loose, if I had 2 males, they could potentially bang into each other and create a short. So if I put the females on here, there's no chances of they're disconnected. Just a tip. I could be wrong, I don't know, that's just what I do. Okay, I crimped these. I got a lighting issue here. When I crimp these, I'll try to take this piece here and I'll stab into where the you probably can't see this, but not necessarily in the back. I'll do it in the front. Again, any comment would be appreciated. Let me just say, any comments that are at least positive, you can tell me I'm doing it wrong. Look, you're not doing that right. Then a good way would be, I don't really care for any comments to go, wow, you're horrible because you showed everybody how to do it wrong. I don't know if that's really constructive. All right. One moment while I fix my lighting here. Okay. All right, then back to the extensions. Well, this wire is definitely larger than the wire on the speed controller. I have concerns about it even going in there. What I'm going to do is just go to a little bit smaller and just take some of this off because it's not going in there. I'm going to take some of the conductor wire out too. And I'm just looking down on the face to see that a bunch of the wire does go in there. It does, in fact. You ever do this and then you pull on and they fall off? That's happened to me a lot. So you can see here I pulled some of the conductor out just because it's just a little too large to go into these. Again, I'm using what I have on hand. I don't go out and buy everything I need. But I do appreciate any feedback. Something I'm doing wrong or something that can be improved. I mean, obviously I know there could be improvements, but and then what I'm going to do is go down, look down in there. Camera probably won't show it, but there's a tab bent over, and I can see the end of the wires just about hitting that tab. So I know if I crimp it somewhere down low, I know I'm going to have a good connection. And then I'll show you again. I'm crimping it down on the lower part, not on the higher part, and I'll give it a pretty good tug. Now these connectors are obviously designed for larger wires, so I'm going to have more luck with these. And I won't need to pull the conductors out. And you can pretty clearly see the wires coming out here. I'm going to use the, what is this, 10 to 16. I know I got a pretty good connection there. Alright, again I'll test. Alrighty, so now it's just a matter of assembly here. We'll go black to black, red to red, and then I think we're going to pretty much have the same problem we did with these. They're going to be a little too wide. This is a little cover, common. This one back. Okay, just check it. Yeah, it won't go in there cleanly. So I'll use the same technique I used to the other side. What I'm going to do is tip the just take the cutters here and pull off a little bit of the left and the right on this. And so now it should fit in there, and it does. This one looks a little smaller. Just still won't go in there by default. So I'll take a little bit off both sides here. That will work. All right. Again, it's labeled here common and V+. And then the positive. Okay, we got those down, and there's this little cover that flips down. We got that. And we're going to move the whole operation over to the lathe and test out the new power supply. Okay, so we're over by the lathe now. I'm going to pull the temporary power supply, which was the auto transformer, capacitor, and the full wave bridge. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out of the way. And I don't need these clips any longer. Okay. Here's the switch. Again, that I'll be using this for forward and reverse. Maybe that'll be the next video, is making the forward and reverse switch. Alright, so I got the power supply. And then these connectors, I don't have them identified yet. But I'll go ahead and just plug them in. And then we'll trial by error to see if we got the right directions going. Alright. Make sure I got my speed controller plugged in correctly. And it is on low. And we'll plug in the power supply. And if you guys are all ready to make some smoke. Alright. On the previous video, you've seen I put a switch on the power supply, and the power supply has an LED light. So I'll switch it on. You'll see the light. Well, you probably see a bunch of sparks and then smoke. But if I did it right, what you'll actually see is the green light come on, and you'll hear the beeping from the speed controller. It shouldn't start up though, because I got it turned all the way down. So here we go. No smoke as of yet. Alright, so go ahead and start the motor. And I don't have an amp gauge in it now. Maybe I'll work on that when I get the switches, the reverse switch in. So we'll go ahead and turn up the motor. And I actually do have it reversed. So I'm going to go ahead and shut my power supply off. And it has a capacitor, so it holds the voltage for a second. Okay, it's down. Now all I need to do is just reverse any two of these leads. Alright, put the power supply back on. And here we go. One thing I did notice is that the gear shift on this guy is the reverse of the Harbor Freight. And what I've not been able to determine if that was a change in the design over the years, or if somebody replaced the gears and put them in backwards, I don't know. But when I was doing the motor test before, and I was saying low and high, it kind of looked odd to me, and I wasn't really sure, but it was definitely because the gear shift lever here is reversed. I was just gonna put a little load on it with my hand and see if because I was concerned about the torque. So now I got the 20 amp power supply. Try to see if I notice any difference. Well, it does seem to be better. I did take my Harbor Freight lathe and I loaded it with my hand in the same way, and it does appear to seem to have a little bit more torque. You know, but another thing I noticed about the Harbor Freight lathe is that it's different than this one. This one will go to a full stop and it will go very slow. Where the Harbor Freight lathe, at the slowest RPM, it starts rotating, even if you've got the knob all the way down. So, you know, I don't have a tachometer and know speeds real well, but I'm feeling a little better, and I think this is going to do a lot better job than I was concerned about the other day. So anyway, there's the new 20 amp, 24 volt power supply and the motor mount. And I think the next video will be designing the reverse switch that will go into the new box. I purchased a couple boxes here. Got the plastic one here. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use, but I'll be mounting the electronics here with one of these boxes, and the lead screw will be visible underneath here, but I don't think that's really going to be an issue overall. So stay tuned for the next video. Like I said, it'll be the forward reverse switch. Thank you very much for watching.